Great morning, chit-chat, Kit Kats. Well, one thing people know about me, I'm very direct, okay? I'm not going to mince words. I'm not going to try to be a people pleaser. You know, some people think if you're a spiritual teacher that you need to be a people pleaser. Butter shouldn't melt in your mouth. You're supposed to pat everybody on the head and tell them how fabulous they all are, okay? Well, there were times that even Yeshua ben Joseph did not pat people on the head. He didn't give them pablums, okay? He went in and threw the money changers' tables over and said, you know, you're a den of iniquity. This is a place of prayer and you made it a den of thieves. He told the religious of the day that they were dead men's sepulchres walking around, dead bones walking around, okay? So he was not always gentle and kind and sweet, a people pleaser. Oh, please like me. Please like me. That was not it. He got angry with the people. Sometimes he had to get away from the people. He said, you come to me, all you want is fish, you want this, you want that. You don't come to get what I'm trying to give you, okay? You just want the things that you can have in your hand. I'm trying to give you high spiritual knowledge, and you want fishes, you want the loaves, that's what you want, okay? So he was not someone that was out there, you know, telling everybody how fabulous they were, okay? So, you know, this idea that a spiritual teacher has got to become a doormat for people is absolutely not true. You give the truth out, and sometimes it's that hard truth that you don't want to hear. Okay? So that's it. I mean, you're free to believe whatever you want to believe. But I don't give you the right to come here and be disrespectful and be an ass. Okay? Just don't. Okay? That's not going to happen. You try to give something to uplift people as much as you want, you know, as much as they want. But you can't uplift somebody that's in the dark mentality, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to be a hater, okay? So if that's what they want to be, they can do it elsewhere. That's their choice. You have free will, okay? Now, people come and they want to know, I want to know an exact date. I want to know a time. When? Well, I say when it happens, okay? That's it. Cannot give you an exact timing. The universe doesn't work that way. So I'm not going to put it out there. As far as Trumpenstein, I've felt around October, but you can't take that to the bank because, like I said, everything is in flux. And again, that's why I don't do a lot of predictive type readings. Okay? I do more readings that are, you know, information to look at, okay? Things to look at. So more of that type of thing rather than predictive. Now, I've talked about that before. That's why I don't do personal readings. People want predictive things rather than advisory. I give more things that are advisory, things to look at, okay? Potentials, things to look at. Now, I have people that come on my channel, well, this, you know, this psychic said this reader said that, this is, you know, I've seen some of these ones, the psychics that people want to hold up. And that, you know what they do? They give these predictions that are, you know, years away. So you can never see what is actually coming in with them. And when they've done predictive readings that are current, they've been 180% wrong. Okay? So, again, something to be looked at. Just because they say they're psychic and they have, with this and with that, a lot of it with them is, their own mental things that they're, trying to navigate. So people come and ask if I'm psychic or what's going on. I go by energy, okay? Energetic. That's what comes in here, energetic. Once in a while, they'll have a flash of something coming through, but I'm not somebody who's seeing visions. I'm not having, people speaking in my ear. But a lot of mine comes also from having done the path and imploding into the divine is. And with that happens, your mind stills. I don't have rotating thoughts going on all the time. It's not there anymore. It's silence, okay? So it comes from a different perspective. So I put that out there. But no, I don't claim to be psychic. I don't claim any of these things, and I don't tell people, oh, well, my guides and masters are telling me this, although things do filter through. I can connect, and if you go back and watch some of the ones where I was connecting, you'll see that something very weird happens with the energy. It goes, I'm talking and everything's normal on there, but when I start doing that channeling type of thing, connecting with that, and that's coming through, then it looks like a bad kung fu movie. I'll be talking, and then the voice comes out. It's something, it's not, and the minute I stop channeling, it goes right back to normal again. So that's one thing that you can see. There is absolutely, many times when I go into a channeling type of thing, you'll see that the energy is affected in the way that things are videographed here. You can find those things. I have playlists. Now I have people that say, I want to learn tarot. Well, I have a playlist that gives some advisory things on tarot, okay? Then I have a playlist of more spiritual admonitions, that type of reading and things that were coming through. And then I have a playlist of more channeled type things that are coming through. And again, you can look at some of the channeled things and you'll see, I just find it so funny. Normally talking and everything is according to Hoyle, everything is moving. And the minute you start channeling, everything is off by a little bit coming in. And then the minute the channeling, that connection drops, it goes right back to normal. So that you can see that take place, okay? So there is something that happens within that timing. I don't know why it does that, but it has a energetic disruption when it comes to doing video, okay? Now, once in a while, people see, especially if I'm in the tarot room, they've seen, the lights, the things that happen, okay? Those things happen. Some people have seen the aura, my aura. Once in a while, that happens. Not as often, but sometimes there are some people. Now, I gave a talk one time at this, it was a Hindu temple, and there was one woman in there that was just streaming tears, and I'm going, what is wrong? She's her aura is so beautiful, your aura. She was seeing the aura, and she was just tears streaming down, So, sometimes things like that happen. I've had a lot of very out of the ordinary things happen. especially in Hawaii. If you go up to the Pali, now all of my photographs, everything, I don't know what happened when I was moving. People were packing things up, they disappeared. But when I was in Hawaii, especially up to the Pali, you would see all these lights and things there, okay? You would see all these energetic things, these lights and things, okay? Yeah. I've had very strange photographs taken before. I was doing a wedding for someone in Hawaii on the beach in the morning. And this is when Kundalini was just really going crazy with me. And you could see this light proceeding out of my mouth and coming up from my head and proceeding out of my mouth in that photograph. Okay. Now I do have photographs in here of when I was going through a ceremony, and in the photography you could see the flames coming up, and you could see Shiva in the flame holding the bell with the animals surrounding him, the crescent moon, everything of Shiva. You could see it in the fire, and you could see Shakti, okay, standing there with the bust and the small waist holding a conch shell. And then you could see another one of coming out, and again the Garuda is coming from the back of the head. So a lot of phenomena was happening during that ceremony. Tons and tons of things were showing up in the flames during that ceremony. Yeah. So, I mean, those things happen. Those things have happened for years. Okay? So, yeah, that's just where that's at. Anyway, on that note, I'll leave that here. But yeah, I've had a lot of crazy things that have happened in life, and most of it's due to the path that I was walking, the spiritual path. Now, I was foolish. Be careful what you ask for, because I was asking to walk the path of Christ. You don't want to do that because you will go through all those elements, okay? You'll go through all of those elements, the testing and all of the other things that happen, okay? Go through that feeling of that death, okay? And that's what it feels like just before you transition. There's that feeling. And remember when, Christ's in the Garden of Gethsemane, he is having tears of blood. I mean, he is, that's fear, okay, that's fear, and still going forward. And then on the cross saying, why have you forsaken me, and that's what you feel like. You have to lay down your life by yourself. You have to trust, put that trust there, even when you're feeling that everything's being pulled away, okay? So yeah, that's something that takes place in that type of a heavy spiritual journey, okay? But you come out the other side. Once you absolutely, and during my journey, when I went into that meditation, and it's that extreme fear, on the altar of truth I lay myself, because I've done everything I can do. Now it's up to God. Okay, and you don't know whether you're going to be possessed, you're going to just, die and everything, you're gone. You don't know what's going on, but you have to make that decision yourself to lay down your life and to trust God, trust the divine. Okay, but then the next second, there's no you, no world, there's just the divine is. Okay, and everything shifts at that point, and there is knowledge there that's immediate knowledge, okay? And it's like that, when the Bible says you need to go through the death, before death, that death aspect, okay? And then you're resurrected, okay? But yeah, that it feels like going through that death. Now, the difference between realization and those having near-death experience, they're going into heavenly realms. You're going into the divine is directly, okay? You're not seeing other people, other things. All that's imploded, and you're going to the seed state of the universe, okay? And you know that this is the divine is, and everything that will ever come into being is already present there, okay? So all of this knowledge is there immediately. And so when you come back, you're seeing from a different perspective. Now, it takes a good 10 years to ground again after that, because for the first few years, you are just so encompassed with everything, okay? And you are in a ongoing heavy samadhi state for years. And when you come out of it, you have to relearn to speak, okay? Because it's not you're trying to elevate yourself. You say this one. It's not me, my. You have to learn to say me, my, I again, because it's no longer there as this solid structure, okay? So it's like this one. And then you don't want to have any kind of small talk. You know, you just see the small talk is just, you know, so you're in silence. You just want to be in silence for a number of years, okay? So who and what you are has changed significantly when it comes to those elements, okay? So again, the way that things come to me, it's energetically. Energetically is the way it is, okay? Now, I could tune in to someone, like I said, I've tuned in to Trumpenstein, and people are, oh my God, are you poor? You need to change. It doesn't last here. It passes through like nothing, okay? I can tune in and out of it, and it's gone, okay? So it's not something that stays and is heavy and, you know, that lingers. No, nothing like that. So anyway, I'll leave that here, and we'll keep going on. We'll do another open read and just see what it's pointing to, and we'll see you online.